there are a lot of index cards that Games Workshop has released, and they have many errors, which some of them are really funny. Okay, today they have also launched their app, which is free for now, and then presumably as soon as codexes start being released, they slap a paywall straight on it, because they have said, you can use it for the moment, totally for free, for the moment, just for now, for the time being, okay, money, is what their sort of statement has been today. They've also released a lot of Legends of the Horus Heresy datasheets, which look okay. It lets you use all the vehicles from the Horus Heresy if you have some Horus Heresy models and you want to use them in 40k. You can, but not in tournaments, but not many people go to official Games Workshop tournaments anyway. As for all the errors on the index cards, so a really big thank you to all the people who commented on my community post on YouTube, the comments on my videos about 10th edition things, and to all the people in Discord who helped me collate more than half of these. So thank you so much for your diligent proofreading and comedic awareness. I've divided the errors into 3 different groups. There's very silly errors, very obvious errors, and then, is that an error? Because that seems super weird kind of things. First we have Games Workshop taunting a Chaos Lord. He has a Power Fist listed as his melee weapons, but even though you can equip the model with a Power Fist on the physical model, there's no combination of war gear options that lets you actually take a Power Fist. Whoopsie! But another one of the Chaos factions that's suffering from some very silly rules wording is the Death Guard Sorcerer. You see, in the fight phase, you can select an enemy unit within 18 inches and roll a dice. On a 2+, each time an attack is allocated to a model in the Psyker's unit, subtract 1 from the damage. Why are we selecting a unit 18 inches away? What does that do? Why are you picking an enemy unit that has nothing to do with the attacks? Why does it specify that you're doing it? Why is it in the fight phase? Not the shooting phase. So there's no benefit to picking something way over on the other side of the field. You're picking your own unit. Don't even mention the enemy unit. Hey, you see those guys over there? Uh-huh. Do you feel like we could beat them? Yeah. But what do they have to do with it? Shh. Chaos magic. And while we're thinking of the Death Guard, we also know from what Games Workshop has said that they've had to balance about 1,000 index cards. So yeah, there were going to be errors. Well, actually, they've had to balance 8,000 data cards because of the other languages. So, mis amigos, miren esto. ¿Tienen un ataques D6? No. Porque en inglés, it is 2d6 attacks, not 21. At least this isn't French bias. That is something we just couldn't live with. So the cards are not even consistent between languages. So, obviously, if you can get a Spanish version, you are getting a lot more power for your money. And I can't really see people wanting to buy these index cards in a physical sense when there are this many errors on them. And we have a lot more errors to go. The Votan get 2 big errors that are quite funny. Uthar the Destin's ability, it's not like grammatically incorrect. It allows him to re-roll a hit roll, wound roll, or damage roll and change it to a 6. But he doesn't roll damage. His damage is either 1 for his Volcanite Disintegrator or 2 for the Blades of the Ancestors. No dice rolling needed. And you don't get to set the damage to 6. You get to re-roll a dice that you're not even re-rolling. And it wouldn't matter anyway if there's some other Votan model with the Appraising Glare enhancement. It does nothing. Because it gives you a judgment token, which will make your shooting better. It activates in the command phase and lasts until the end of the current phase. So you're paying points for something that has literally no benefit whatsoever. How can you not feel sorry for them? Because of how bad they were last edition. And they're going to be paying for that, like, emotionally for a long while. Just how the Eldar are paying for it every single edition for every edition past, where they were ever so slightly overpowered in one way or another. And their biggest enemy are the Necrons. The Necrons are unfeeling machines. They used to be scared when they were the Necrontyr, and the Immortals were their shook troops. Now maybe after biotransference, they can be shock troops instead. So that was some of the funnier ones that I found, or that you found and gave to me to put in this video to tell everyone. But we have quite a lot of clear errors on datasheets for all the different weapons and profiles, minor things like that that are pretty obviously not correct when you compare them to anything else of its kind. So a jump chaplain has leadership 6+, whereas all other kinds of Space Marine chaplain have leadership 5+. Perhaps the man is afraid of heights. You shouldn't shame him for struggling while he has to do his job. The Death Guard actually have an advantage over one of the other Chaos factions. See, they're not absolutely the worst. The Death Guard Defiler has a twin-linked las cannon at strength 12, but the Thousand Suns Defiler, with the same gun, only gets strength 9. And again for the Thousand Suns, what if you have like an amazing twin Inferno heavy bolter on your Thousand Suns Land Raider? It's gonna be damage 1, unlike every other heavy bolter for every other army. And then there's Eldar bias. Oh, calm. Yes, hey everyone, it's Eldar bias. We know how twin-linked works, okay? We know. It's a new rule. You have 2 guns strapped together and you get to re-roll the wound roll. Some of them, instead, still get 2 shots. So like a multi-melter has 2 barrels, but it's not a twin-linked long-range melter gun. It's a thing that gets 2 shots. Okay. Here's a Wave Serpent. It gets both things. 4-shot star cannons, but also twin-linked. You cannot tell me that there is a quad star cannon on top of that. Who said Eldar OP? Speaking of vehicles, what even is a dreadnought? Is this a dreadnought? Yes, that is a dreadnought. You can tell it's a dreadnought because it looks like a dreadnought, and importantly, it has the dreadnought keyword. A Space Marine Contemptor dreadnought does not have the dreadnought keyword. A Redemptor dreadnought doesn't. Brutalis dreadnought does. Ballistus dreadnought, that brand new one, doesn't. Not a dreadnought. Look at this imposter dreadnought over here. None of the Blood Angels dreadnoughts are dreadnoughts, but all of the Space Wolf dreadnoughts are dreadnoughts. It's funny, but it actually matters for gameplay, because a Storm Raven, if you want to use one of them, can carry models with the dreadnought keyword. So it doesn't matter if you're Contemptor dreadnought, you need to have the separate keyword, dreadnought. So the Space Wolf dreadnoughts are dreadnoughts, but a lot of their people in Terminator armor aren't people in Terminator armor. Their Wolf Guard pack leader in Terminator armor cannot join Space Wolf units in Terminator armor, and the Space Wolf Guard Terminators lose their Power Fist if they have an assault cannon. Something that doesn't happen to the Terminators of any other faction. If we're having weird weapon swap whoopsies, the Chaos Space Marine Chosen replace their bolt pistol with a combi weapon. So they're swinging around both a bolt gun and a combi weapon in defiance of the models and normal convention. Make sure you have yours modeled appropriately and point this out to all of your opponents every time before they shake their head at you and go. And then, okay, yeah, you choose to do it the normal, sensible way of swapping the bolt gun for the combi weapon. But there's even more guns for the Traitor Guard. They can have 3 melter guns. There aren't that many of that weapon on the sprue, and Games Workshop has been doing a lot of what you get in the box is what you can put on the models, that is your options. But this datasheet has nothing to stop you from doubling up. Compare it to the Chaos Space Marine datasheet, which specifies you cannot have 2 of one kind of weapon. The Traitor Guard can. Triple melter gun, away you go. It's not just the infantry that are a bit different from other things. The Chaos Rhino has no firing deck, but the Space Marine Rhino does. Apparently you need to like really seal in the roof to keep the heresy in. But if you're trying to blow open the heresy, you're going to find that your Imperial Guard squads have 1 less special weapon than you'd think. It's pretty obviously an error. I wouldn't do it rules as written, because we all know that an Imperial Guard squad, like the ones you can buy online, have one special weapon and one heavy weapon team and a sergeant. Now you can take 2 special weapons in your Cadian squad for every 10 men, 2 special weapons for your Death Corps of Krieg squad for every 10 men, and you can also have 1 special weapon for every 10 models in your regular infantry squads. However, if you've replaced 2 of the guys with a heavy weapon team, now that's a squad of only 9, which means that, rules as written, you cannot take a special weapon. And if you decide to have a squad of 20, but 1 or 2 heavy weapon teams, alas, only 1 special weapon in that unit because it does not contain 20 models. It technically contains 18, because 2 men hug together really close. But Imperial Guard are not the worst hit. Battle Sisters. Battle Sisters suffer. There are no Celestians, only Celestian Sacrosancts. We know that the boxy dreadnoughts are going to be retired, but they got index cards. Where are my Celestian cards? The models are still being sold on the web store by some Celestians, but there's no card to go with it. I don't think this is something that's going to actually be fixed, because there's no characters in the Battle Sisters that have Celestians listed as a unit that they can join. So that just really sucks for someone like me, who has squads of Celestians that don't break up into other Battle Sister squads very easily. Also, the Sister Shrine is gone, but that isn't sold online anymore, and I don't think anyone noticed or cared. Then we have some of the things a bit like that seem like errors, but might not be, but they're very funny and silly. So the World Eater's Hellbrute and the Blood Angel's Death Company Dreadnought can shoot indefinitely. Okay, so say you're here, you get shot by a las pistol, then you go, oh, I'm gonna get you. Yeah, you don't actually need to shoot back at the unit that shot you. So then you get hit by a missile, and you go, oh, that's made me really angry, I'm a World Eater's Hellbrute, oh, I'm gonna get... Yeah. That's how it is in the rules. And if we're thinking of fire, Kill Team Cassius. They have a Terminator with a heavy flamer. It's strength 2, which is far lower than any other heavy flamer. Previously, he could have a kind of like gas, strength 2, but automatically wounding on a 2+ attack. Or maybe that strength 2 is there to offset him being a Terminator with a combi melter as well as the heavy flamer, to sort of balance him out against all of the Terminators, but it's a unique unit. Why do you need to be weird and special about it? Just make it a strength 5 heavy flamer. The Scarab Occult Aspiring Sorcerer, he has an Inferno combi bolter, but his psychic attack is a pistol weapon, and you can't fire pistol weapons and other kind of weapons. So either you shoot your gun, or you use mind gun. Can't do both. Every other Psyker is totally fine to do that. Eldar Farseer, yeah, throw your spear and also do an Eldritch Storm. Why not? But not if you're 1,000 Suns. Nope, nope, nope. The Chaos Cultist mob in the Chaos Space Marine detachments are battle line, but they have Objective Control 1. Whereas the Accursed Cultists, with, tentacles for arms, that previously didn't have the appendages to let them perform actions, are now Objective Control 2. I just think those two are probably the wrong way around. And I will be doing a video on how to run an all-cultist Chaos Space Marine army. Because with some shenanigans, that's legal now. But never mind the stuff we've seen before. Surely, for the new release of these brand new Tyranid models, they would get everything perfect. Well, here's the brand new Barb Gaunt unit. You can fire indirectly, and since there's 5 models in the unit, you can split fire to hit 5 different targets. Every unit that you hit takes -2 to their movement. That doesn't seem right. Every other unit has to choose one that was hit by them to take the penalty and suffer. But not them, so 50 points, or even 2 squads, if you can double up on the Leviathan box, split, get 2, get someone else's Tyranids, stuff like that. Trade, friendship, betrayal, friendship. Tyranids. Get 10 of them, then you can shoot at an entire enemy army and slow down their entire army every turn of the game, because they have quite a long range as well. So that could do with being fixed, please. Warhammer. Now the new Neuro Tyrant is very nice and can join some Tyrant Guard, combining their 2 toughness 8s. Yeah, totally fine. But a Hive Tyrant is toughness 10, so if you add a bodyguard of Tyrant Guard, it's actually lowering their toughness. Giving them a bodyguard makes them easier to kill. Not sure on that one. But then again, there's not a lot of firepower that's going to be blamming away 3 people in one turn. So it's probably fine. That's just some internal balance. What if you had, between different factions, basically the same unit? They would be like, the same, right? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Space Marine bias is here. We have Astartes Servitors, we have Admech Servitors, and we have Imperial Guard Servitors. And they're kind of different. Astartes Servitors are toughness 4 compared to the toughness 3 of others. That's just so we don't have this Tyranid bodyguard problem of lowering the toughness of a model by giving it a bodyguard. The Astartes Servitors also hit on a 4+, whereas the Servitors of the poor, neglected, overcosted Admech are 6+. The Space Marine ones do cost a couple more points, and the Admech ones get their faction rule, whereas the Space Marine ones are about the only unit in the Space Marine faction that don't get Oath of Moment. And then there's another thing for the Battle Sisters. So they do get something good, but it's probably an error. And no one else has spotted it, as far as I can tell. And when I do my long, very long, full-on, in-depth analysis of the Battle Sisters, I'll be making a big point about this. The Dominions have assault on their bolt guns. People have noticed that. So the Dominions, even with bolt guns, can advance and shoot. That looks intentional. But their bolt guns, are they meant to be rapid fire too? So that when you're in 12 inches, half range, you get 3 shots? It kind of looks like they just copied and pasted from the Artificer Stormbolter, which is also assault and should be rapid fire too. Oh well, that's one thing that I've seen good for the Battle Sisters. At least my Battle Sisters. I don't have Paragon Warsuits. But those are some of the best or most interesting or just outright funny errors on the index cards. If you do have more, let me know in the comments, and if I have enough, and this video is popular, let's say it gets 100 likes, I will do a part 2. I've left out some of the more ambiguous ones, the ones where I'm willing to err on the side of a sensible interpretation. And no, in the comments I will not accept, oh, all of the Eldar cards or all of the Death Guard index cards are clearly wrong. I know that me saying that won't stop you from putting it in the comments. Yes, the points on some models does seem very high or low, but that's not the main problem I have with points. Just click the video there and I'll tell you about it. My darlings and viewers, have a great day proofreading in 40k.